Hello and welcome everyone, my name is Captain Frost, and today I want to talk with you about new skill changes in Path of Exile 2. Will it be a better or will it be worse than what we do have in Path of Exile 1? Why it may disappoint a hell a lot of people, and why it will be probably a very positive thing for the game itself and for the game longevity and stuff like that. So basically, if you didn't see new trailers that come up on the gaming events, there was gameplay for mage type class and monk type class. I don't know how you would call them or how they will be called in the game. But basically both the gameplay trailers showed us that there will probably be a big rework of movement skills first, and then overall all skills in the game. It's not a secret that Grinding Gear Games wanted us to get a more than one skill per character for use, so your regular builds in Path of Exile are not the optimal thing that developers of the game want you to play. And this is the part where a lot of people will be probably quite disappointed by the change, even though it's definitely a good thing for the game. So if you have one skill, one main skill like we do have now in Path of Exile, you don't really have any cooldowns, or if you do have, there aren't many of them and they are probably automatically proccing. All your movement skills are, or not all your movement skills, but most of your movement skills don't really have cooldown, or if they have cooldown, then you want a very high movement speed on your character in order to zoom through everything. Why this is a problem? This is a problem because this way you are creating bosses that are gonna be overtuned for some builds that don't have this super mobility, and bosses that will be undertuned for people who have this mobility, and it just creates a problem with tuning the bosses itself. Even if there was no disparity between the builds, it's just a problem if you have a movement skill on demand that is instant in any single situation, in any single second. And if that movement skill just makes you travel through the whole screen, 0-second cooldown, and you can do that every single second and time, that means that bosses that you're handling, in order for them to feel hard and stuff, they need to be very fast with all their attacks. They need to have a bunch of different stuff that are on the way towards you, and it can be good sometimes, but it's definitely a problem if you are looking at the game's health for a longer period of time. And with all the changes that we seem to have in Path of Exile 2 from the trailers that we've saw, and probably it all will be manifested on the ExileCon, we will have our main skills that deal damage. We will have multiple of them, and they will have these little dashes built into them so that you can traverse the battlefield way easier than you're doing right now, where you either have to stand still and just attack the enemy if you're not a totem or minion build, or you are just blinking around, dodging stuff while waiting for that opportunity to stand still again and to hit as fast as possible. This is not really a good gameplay because you're either static or you're dodging. There's no in between. And with the skills, with the mechanic where you do have a couple of skills, they are all blinking you a little bit in different ways. It will feel more like a cyclone style of gameplay, but with more than one skill, and not as just simplified as you're pushed a button and you're then spinning around the enemy, and if there's a dangerous zone, then you're just spinning out of there and you're constantly in the move. But you will feel this constantly in the moviness, because more skills that give you this little blinks and that deal simultaneous damage, it will feel better in this term. It will feel a bit more like Cyclone gameplay currently. And it will feel just less clunky with I'm staying still, I'm blinking, I'm staying still, I'm blinking. So yeah, when it comes to your gameplay diversity, it will increase it tremendously because with combination of different skills and not having a leap slam or shield slam or I mean shield charge on every single build that you're playing, and you just have to take this or that, or you need to have either flame dash also. So yeah, you wouldn't be as restricted with your movement skills. You wouldn't be as restricted with your main skills as well, because even if you are staying with something like, I don't know, Reeve or Infernal Blow or Lightning Strike, you can get some additional skill that gives you dashes and still deals damage. And then when you're getting bored out of this playstyle, you're just getting out of one of them, and you don't need to reroll your character. You're just puzzling in and puzzling out your character. You're tinkering with all that stuff, and it's just way more hybrid like. It's way more flexible, it's way more versatile. You will have way more potentially, you will have way more character playtime when you're not getting bored out of the combat system and out of your own character class. It will definitely be a it will definitely have a good impact on the boss design. They will have way more just things that will make you feel that boss fight is harder, even though it's not relatively harder than our current ones as Mavens, Exarchs, and all the other ones. So with less things that are available for you to instantly dodge every single thing that just flies on you, game developers will have more instruments to make interesting mechanics for you with less different skills that are placed on top of the boss. And it increases the ceiling of the highest difficulty bosses that will have the same amount of different difficult mechanics as before, and will be way more punishing because you are now lacking those teleport abilities, those instant ones that just trivialize everything that you're dealing with. This will help make gameplay against packs of mobs and in clearing of the maps. Of course, it will make it slower, which will aggravate a bunch of people, but it will just make it way more way less of a one-shot fest, and you will see what happens. You will have at least more agenda of seeing what happens on the battlefield. You will have more ways and probably a bit less enemies and a bit less of visual effects clutter that is going around. You will just see more single out skills that are flying towards you. You will understand what you're dealing with when you're going through every single pack of mobs, and you will probably still be able to one-shot through everything. If your character is powerful enough, you'll probably still will have a way to trivialize all that stuff if you have enough gear, if you have enough levels and just player power and stuff like that. But it will make everything way more digestible as a person, because you can't really be sure about everything that you're currently handling in the game while you're starting the, I don't know, if you're coming to a Legion encounter or Breach encounter and there's just like 10s and 20s and 50 hundreds of enemies are popping out. It's cool and all, but you can't really understand what every single one of them is doing, and sometimes it just causes this moments of you're like, yeah, I got one shot because I don't even know why I didn't even see that. So yeah, it will compromise some parts of the game that some part of the gaming community likes in Path of Exile. There will be, I'm 100% sure there will be outrage in Reddit, there will be outrage with some of the streamers and stuff like that, and just regular people. Some of them will definitely say that, oh no, I'm not playing that, maybe even like that. But probably this I'm not playing Path of Exile 2 will be a very, very little minority, even if the game will be way slower and way tactical than it is currently. But I don't really think that it will be so much slower. It just will be more digestible. You will just see more, you will feel more, and you wouldn't have this clunky feeling of, yeah, so at least in my own opinion, combat in Path of Exile is okay, but it's not the best part of the game. The best part of the game is definitely just items, your progression, and your diversity, your complexity of the game itself. Gameplay-wise, Path of Exile is a bit outdated, to be honest, and the system of your one main ability, no cooldowns on movement skills, it's not the healthiest way for you to handle the game in terms of it being good for years and years ahead. So yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you will understand why developers do things that they do. If it's shit, then it will call it shit. If it's good, then it's good. And yeah, not everything should be just more speed, more damage, and more mobility without any thinking, without any consequences and stuff. And I think that combat being way more fluid, way more flexible, will feel so much better. And it will feel probably just a bit more Lost Ark-ish, which, yeah, Lost Ark has pretty good combat. It just has shittiest systems and shittiest lore, shittiest everything besides combat. So yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you're having a good time, and goodbye.